our next speaker, which is Dr. Jessica Rose, who is been waiting in the wings to give us her excellent presentation. I totally love her presentation. She gives us such good information in such a way that anybody can understand it. Over to you, Dr. Jessica Rose.
Hi, thanks. Wow, that was a really, really amazing presentation. I have a few friends who have requested a copy of this recording because they have friends who really want to connect with you. So thank you for that. And my presentation isn't so enlightening, I'm afraid. I decided that I was going to use the slides that John Su, who works for the CDC, presented at the latest ACIP VRBPAC meeting. These are meetings where people are able to provide testimony or evidence or data to a panel of judges in order to try and change decisions or help people make the right decisions with regards to everything. And this was on the subject matter of whether or not we should continue to keep injecting our 5 to 11-year-olds based on the safety data that was drawn from VSafe and also VAERS. So my presentation is very brief. So I'm just going to run you through what he presented and what actually is going on in VAERS. There shouldn't be a difference, but there is. I'm going to share my screen now. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep,
Okay.
can.
This is my front yard, by the way. This picture here, I am a surfer and I am in the water every day if I can be. And I try and also get a little bit of sunshine every day as part of a healthy lifestyle. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. So like I said, this is a presentation in response to the December 13th, 2021 ACIP meeting presentation by John Su. He does work for the CDC and he's somewhat notorious for presenting data that me and quite a few of my colleagues have issues with. So this was with regards to the, like I said, the safety data coming out of VAERS for 5 to 11-year-olds. Now, I only study VAERS data or analyze VAERS data, so that's going to be the focus today. So this is the first, one of the first slides he presents. I'm just going to get rid of myself here in the corner. And there are a few numbers here and statistics. He has counted in VAERS a total number of 3,233 reports made for children aged 5 through 11 as of December 10th. And just to put that into perspective, there have been over 7 million doses administered in just a few short weeks. I mean, it's insane to me. After just 2 weeks, there were over 1 million children aged 5 through 11 in the United States injected with these products. And by the way, the adverse events started rolling in right away. The median age was 9 years, and the gender split is about half and half. And so this is his slide on the right, and my data is on the left. Notice that I'm providing the most recent updated data, which is 1 week later, as of December 17th. And the count is much closer to 4,000 reports made for 5 to 11-year-olds in VAERS. And I just want to point out to everyone, I'm sure everyone here has been hearing talk of the underreporting factor in VAERS. It is a real thing. And it's been estimated by me and Steve Kirsch and Ronald Kostov, and more recently another colleague of mine. And it's somewhere between 31 and 100. So if you take the kind of the middle ground estimate of the underreporting factor, which is 41, the actual number of reports being made to or filed to VAERS for this age group is closer to 160,000. And remember, this is very short time in. So I can confirm that what he is showing here is it's approximately okay. The count is, I'm not too worried about the difference in the count. And the distribution by gender is fine. This I can also confirm. Now, what you see on the left here is his data that he presented, and this is the distribution of reports according to how many were filed immediately at day zero or time zero. It's the difference, it's the calculated difference between when the injections were given and when the onset of the adverse event ensued. So 0 means it happened immediately, 1 is within 24 hours, etc. So I can confirm what he found. My findings are on the right. And I knew this 2 weeks ago because I was checking for this. And I actually wrote a Substack article about this. There's a very high percentage, which I'll show in the next slide, of reports being filed immediately for these young children. Which, by the way, well, just to summarize this slide, I can confirm that what he's reporting here is correct. The trend is correct. Now, this is what I just mentioned here. 88% of the adverse event reports filed to VAERS for this age group were filed within 24 hours, immediately. This is staggering. And I did write an article about this 2 weeks ago because it's not just that there are thousands of reports being filed already, it's how fast they're coming in. Because a child would have to be injected, succumb to the adverse event. It would have to be reported. It would have to make it into the VAERS system, which is not an easy task, and then end up in the front end system after being vetted. So it's a remarkably high percentage. And I think that it might actually be a silver lining, because if the parents are there with their children, and that's a big if, by the way, and they're witnessing their child experiencing an adverse event, they might decide not to get their kid injected again. So there might be some positiveness in my presentation after all. This is the next slide that John Su presents. It is a top 10 list of what he calls non-serious adverse events in VAERS in this age group. And it's completely wrong. I don't even know where to start with this. So I'll start by saying my chart, the correct numbers and percentages are on the right. This is my chart. And even though I don't know where to start, I know where to focus on this. And everyone should focus on number 10, or the so-called number 10. Product administered to patient of inappropriate age. That means that children were injected, but they were too young, which means the person who injected them didn't know how old they were, which probably means that they didn't tell the individual anything about informed consent, information, data, whatever. That would be my assumption. If the responsibility level is that low, I wouldn't expect much from whoever these people are who are injecting these thousands of children who are filing VAERS reports, and product administered to patient of inappropriate age is the number one adverse event report in the system. So what I'm telling you here is that this is wrong. The number one adverse event reported to VAERS for this age group is product administered to patient of inappropriate age. You can see that by the number. It represents about 28% of all of the adverse event reports. That's, again, I wrote a Substack article on this a couple of weeks ago when I noticed it. It's appalling what it actually implies. This is a heat map that shows how many 5 to 11-year-olds not only injected, but had filed reports, successfully to VAERS. So you see a clustering, well, I hope you can see it, in the top right corner, and that represents all the children who started to get injected after they said, yes, we're going to start injecting 5 to 11-year-olds in the United States. So my question is, and we already know this because we know that the number one adverse event report is, oops, we injected kids that were too young. Who are all these other kids that are being represented here by the blue and the red dots? Why are there so many 5 to 11-year-olds that were injected even in June? It's not right. Again, the underreporting factor, when it's considered to be 41, we see over 160,000 reports. So that's questionable to me. This is the same chart that John Su presented to this at this FDA hearing, except these are what he considers the serious adverse events. So for those of you who don't know, in the VAERS system, the vaccine adverse event reporting system, for an adverse event to be considered serious or severe, they have 6 classifications. So you have death, hospitalization, emergency room, something that debilitates you, a life-threatening illness, or a birth defect. So one of these 6 criteria is filled, then you're considered to have suffered the serious or severe adverse event. So John Su's list, once again, it's completely incorrect. The ranks are completely wrong. So you'll see the corrected table on the right. You can tell that the numbers are different. Some are lower, some are higher in some cases, but that's not even what's most disturbing about his list. There are thousands of types of adverse event reports in VAERS. There's over 10,000 as a matter of fact. And none of the serious ones that everybody's talking about now are here. Now, I'll granted he has troponin, an increase in troponin listed here, which is the clinical indicator of myocarditis. But where is myocarditis? Where is it? Where are all the neurological problems? Where are all the other severe problems that I know are in VAERS because I have the data? So on that subject, I just want to add a little bit to what John Su presented. When I analyze the VAERS data to paint a picture with a broader consensus, I group the adverse event types by whether or not they're neurological, immunological, or cardiovascularly related. And I find that very helpful because it gives people a much better idea rather than looking at standalone adverse events, which is important. But this gives people a much better idea of how comprehensive these adverse events are. They're covering every single system in the human body. There isn't one that I know of or have been able to think of that isn't apparently affected by these injections in the people that are being affected. It's quite remarkable, actually. So you can notice the counts here. And I don't know about you guys, but I think 933 neurological adverse events is too many. This includes paralysis, multiple sclerosis, spine disorders, brain bleeds, all sorts of lovely things that children shouldn't be having. There are 2 deaths, which I'm going to get to, 102 hospitalizations, 388 emergency room visits. And remember, we're only a few weeks in, and these are only the reports that have been filed. This does not represent the number of people who are actually suffering. That's what the IRF tells us, the underreporting factor. So this is a much more, let's say, comprehensive representation of how many severe adverse events are being reported in these small children. And this plot, or this bar graph here, shows the distribution by age. So we have each age here. And I don't have anything, much to say about this. It's pretty clear that the 11-year-olds are reporting more. That might be because more 11-year-olds are being injected than 5-year-olds. I would definitely dare say that that's why. But this is just to give everyone an idea of the distribution of the reports by age. And so to continue with John Su's presentation, he did correctly report on 2 deaths that have been filed to VAERS in these young children. However, he got one wrong, and I can't find one of the ones that he reports on, which is very weird because I've looked for them quite hard. So There is a female, an 11-year-old girl who died within 5 days of the jab. And they report no side effects, except for the fact that she passed away within days of the jab. So I find that highly disturbing. Also, like I said, I can't find this little person. So it makes me wonder, besides the fact that our analyses are so different, where are the discrepancies coming from, and how much more data is not being reported on the front end side? Because they have, the CDC and the FDA are the owners of the VAERS system, and they have much more data than they show the public. They have much more demographic data. So I don't know if this 6-year-old is in that data that we don't have access to. So yeah, another item that needs to be explained. And myocarditis, how can we talk about children being injected with COVID products without talking about myocarditis? So John reports that there were 14 cases of myocarditis, which is not correct. There are 67. I use the very keyword list that the ACIP report that he filed previously uses. So when I do my analyses, I always like giving benefit of the doubt. I'm only going for reproducibility. That was my intention here. I wanted to reproduce this guy's data, and I wasn't able to. And so this is my strategy. I'm using their data set. I'm using their keyword searches. I'm using their methodologies, and I'm not getting what they're showing. So that's the whole point of this presentation. And I think that's it for me. I told you it was going to be short and sweet, maybe not so sweet, but I want to thank you for listening, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year of freedom. I think we could all use a break from this COVID nonsense, can't we?
Thank you so much for that, Jessica. Will you make your slides available as well? I know that we have recorded this this whole webinar, but you are also on the roundtable group, right? On the Telegram channel.
Actually, I posted the presentation in the chat.
Perfect. In this chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you perhaps send to me on Telegram? Then I'll just add you on the group, because I'm sure quite a few people are going to. Your information is phenomenal. Is what we need for all the court cases that we doing around the world. You know, and when I look at the stuff that you show, I can't understand how there are people who still will have on their damn statuses, safe, vaccines are safe, take one now. And every damn time you go onto Facebook, they'll ask you, would you like to put a banner to show your vaccine? I'm like, no, dude, I don't want a banner. I don't want a
Really, no.
Yeah, definitely no. And you know, the other thing that you know, people don't know is I'm privy to information that happens in a lot of chats here in South Africa. There was a chat group that is vaccinating these kids. And the day that their vaccinations opened, they were discussing what dosage to vaccinate the kids. So they hadn't even decided. Yeah, they don't even know what dose to give the kids, but they've already registered. So at this point, there's not even any direction as to how much to give. So somebody's asking on the group, and you see, I've got friends who send me messages. So I see transcripts of conversations going on in another chat. This is like the pro-vax group. So they're all ready to jab the kids tomorrow when they're registered. And then they say there, so how much must we give them? I think it's the same as adult. No, I think it's 1/3 the dose. No, I think it's, and this conversation is happening.
That's
and
insane.
they're literally going to vaccinate the kids the next day without having no idea what they're going to be, how much they're going to be vaccinating the kids. And then the consensus here in South Africa was 1 dose of Pfizer, same dose as adults, and that's it. That's what the kids are going to get. 2 weeks ago, I saw a message saying, hey guys, nobody knows yet, but the EVDS, which is electronic data system, is now open for the booster jabs for the children. I'm like, did you not just say it was 1? And they go, no, now the kids can take 2. It's up to them. It's up to them.
It's up to 5-year-olds, is it?
Yeah,
Like,
and then the message comes out in our other chats to say kids can now take a booster. I'm like, but you were not even sure how many to give them in the first place. Now, not only must they take one, they must take two. No wonder the kids are getting side effects so quickly. They don't even know what dose to give the kids, and it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking.
I don't get like the thought process in the parents' heads. If I was a mom, I'm not a mom, but if I was a mom, I mean, I don't know if I can even say that, but like, I mean, isn't your first instinct to protect your kid? And what part, I'm sorry, you can't hide behind the I just didn't know blanket anymore, because there's so much information from credible people out there now. You can't just say, oh, it's safe and effective because the government tells me. Like, no.
Exactly. I left a chat where there were people that I'm very close to, my medical school class. I left the chat yesterday and I said to them, guys, I'm done, because I get ridiculed and I get called names and I get things. And the thing is, I persevere with this group because I know you guys. And when somebody says to me, my 14-year-old son can't wait to get vaccinated to protect his grandparents, and I'm so proud of him. I'm like, what are you thinking? To protect his grandparents. And then I said there in the chat that, exactly what you said. I said, I'm tired of putting information here and getting ridiculed, because I found the information because I went looking for it. It's your responsibility. The information is out there to those of us who want to see it. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the work that you're doing and for showing us this information and letting us see it with such clarity and showing us where the holes are. Deanna McLeod showed us the same thing on Monday at the World Council for Health. The information is there. Don't only question the narrative when it goes against your belief. Question all across. Question what Jessica is saying as much as you question what the government is saying, but don't only question what Jessica is saying. Do it across the board. Have the same yardstick. And thank you for this. And thank you for being part of our roundtable. And we're definitely going to have you give us an affidavit, because we need one for our child jab case in South Africa to tell us.
It would be my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica. And so glad to have you on the World Council for Health Med and Science Committee as well. So we'll be seeing more of each other next year.